My favorite.
It's Judd's Hockey Show.
And welcome into Judd's Hockey Show. We are 2 days out from the NHL trade deadline. It's getting good. Plenty of rumors floating around. Of course, it's the Wednesday show, so it's Judd, it's Jessi Pierce, Bar Down Beauties. If you are not listening to that podcast, you should be part of the Score North family. And also, Jessi is the reporter for NHL.com, covering the Wild on a daily basis. And AJ Fredrickson is always co-hosting. And let's get to it. So we didn't do an emergency pod off of this last night because it didn't really rise to that, Jess. And we said, well, if we do an emergency pod, we're sort of going to blow our opinions right now because it's not a big enough trade to like double back on. So we said, let's wait till Jessi joins us. Let's throw it around the room and talk about the Wild's one deal. I'm sure they're done now. I'm sure they're done. Their one deal, they trade for 6'6", 232-pound good guy, tough guy, great in the room, I'm sure, center and maybe a winger, but more of a center, Michael McCarron from Nashville. They give up a 2028 second-round pick. What do we think about this trade, Jessi Pierce?
What? Huh? Why? All of those words were uttered by me yesterday.
You were very positive with Guerin last night in the press conference.
I'm very I like to, I schmooze. I try to make sure he doesn't hate me all the time.
You should have been like,
what's my questions?
Well, that was a master play by him because he showed up early and was schmoozing us so that there was no hard questions.
I had to ask him about Italy. I had to ask him about the food and then tell him how much he hated the cafeteria food. I got him happy.
Best part of the press conference was before the press conference.
Every time. Every single time. It's a depth center. Like the Minnesota Wild go and get a center, great, but he's not a top six. He's not somebody that's going to ever change the first round, possibilities for the Minnesota Wild. He's not a guy that's going to be an impact player. Big body, can win faceoffs, but again, not in those top six situations. So it doesn't really matter. He can go down there and he can play some PK minutes. My first instinct is with his size, he's going to have some of that physical presence. He's obviously fought many Minnesota Wild players in the past before, including Jake Middleton, Marcus Foligno. My first instinct is Marcus Foligno's injury is more severe than they're letting us believe. They did say week to week, so it's not necessarily that they've been minimizing it. But John Hines was very flippant when asked if it was a season-ending thing. It was at first no, and then it was well, we're still getting things evaluated. So makes me believe that Foligno probably out much more seriously than we think. I don't like it. I don't get it. I got to defer to you because you obviously know all about the value of that second round pick in 2028. Must be a heck of a draft class because I saw a bunch of 2028s go last night as well in different trades. I think Cole Smith was also for 2028.
Those kids are like 12 right now.
Yeah, I was joking with Dylan Lukes before the post game stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that 2028 draft class loaded. Those kids are skipping science class right now. They're failing their learner's permit tests.
Yeah.
There's not much info that I have on that, but the value that you're giving, I think, for this guy who's a bottom six center, like he's kind of just a bigger Nico Sturm-ish type of player where he wins. Like the good is that he wins faceoffs. I think he ranks fourth as of last night when the acquisition was made in defensive zone faceoff percentage. So he wins a lot in the defensive zone. So he starts out there a lot, which means he's trusted by his coaches to be in that defensive area of the game. I think he's eighth in shorthanded time on ice. So he's a penalty killer with Marcus Foligno out. That's another guy. And I think he's seventh in the league for block shots with like 60 so far this season. So he's a defensive guy. He kind of fits in, at least on paper, with what it looks like, the style of play that the Minnesota Wild like, and a guy that's going to come in, be a big body, be a little bit of a bruiser, and that, frankly, you need size in the playoffs, and that's the good. Unfortunately, that's sort of where it ends, because after that, I think when you're trading a second-round pick for a guy whose best hockey quality is just size, that's where you have a bit of an issue. It's not like he's that much of a scorer. It's not like he is, gliding up and down the ice with the fastest guys out there. You can talk to me about all you want about his like off-ice characteristics and his personality and whatnot. I do like that he's a right-handed shot because this lineup, frankly, doesn't have enough of those. But I would like it if that right-handed shot was somebody capable of playing top 6 minutes and was a center for a top 6, situation. But In a vacuum, I don't like this trade. I would like to see what it potentially sets up here now for the rest of the week that Bill Guerin is allowed to do. He's making $900,000 this year. It's not like it's a big splash or anything like that against the cap, so it leaves a lot of room if they do want to take on more cap. And for kind of like the comparison I just made, it's a bigger-ish Nico Sturm. Well, Nico Sturm's making $2 million. He's got no trade protection. Is that essentially a revolving door where he's going to be sent out in some sort of deal? Somebody else is coming in, and that extra 1.1 that they just are going to have the offset on allows them to do something else. I'll wait for my final verdict, but in a vacuum, this trade doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Besides, like, I get the size. The value, though, seems like a big overpayment.
Contractually, I think it's a little bit like the Brazeau trade last year, who was not a center, but a big guy. They bring him in. They gave up Hustadinov, Jacob Laukow, and I think a 6th-round pick there. And, of course, he goes to Pittsburgh and actually has had some success there. But the thing about this trade is, one, I think Jessi might be right. I think the Foligno thing has to be taken into consideration. Like they're purposely, and I'm not surprised, being very vague about this. But the other thing is, this is just a straight up, the last 2 days have sort of been, I think, an indication that they don't like their fourth line. I think they're down on Sturm. And if you look at the fourth line last night, 2/3 of it was guys picked up not 2/3. A third of it was a guy picked up in the past 2 days. It will be 2/3 next game when McCarron plays, because Robbie Fabry, who was picked up off waivers from the Blues, played with Sturm and Hinostroza last night. So I also think that this is just a bottom 6 makeover. I think the issue is, and this is just my opinion, I don't think the Wild's done trading. Like, I think there's another trade to come. But I think what this is a clear indication that they were not satisfied, Foligno or not, with their bottom 6, and especially that fourth line. So I think if this had been for like a 5th-round pick, like, we'd all be like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, whatever. The 2nd-round pick, though, it's the sticker shock. And look, it's very clear. Whether we like it or not, Bill Guerin is the equivalent of, I think it's Les Snead, the Rams GM, who a few years ago asked about, man, you give a bunch of draft picks, said F them picks, right? Yeah. Like, he just doesn't care. So, like, we could talk about it's a 2nd-round pick or blah, 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 but I don't think he cares. And so he's willing to pay a bigger price. He's willing to say to Barry Trotz, okay, you got 5 teams calling. What aren't they offering? And Trotz probably like, they're all offering 3rd-round picks. Guerin's like, I'll give you a 2nd. Might not be the smartest move, but I don't think he gives a damn, you guys.
How many times have we heard that Jim Rutherford story when he was the AGM out in Pittsburgh?
The 3rd time. Yes. At least the 3rd time.
Every time they do this.
And don't get me wrong, like, it makes sense. Like, the story is relevant for a reason, but, it feels like when you're a kid and it's like, all right, Mom, Dad, you told me, I've heard this, we've read this book 17 times over the past, 3 weeks. Let's switch it up a little bit. For people that aren't aware, we've heard when he was out in Pittsburgh, something about making a trade and, well, the cost to get this deal over the line is an extra 3rd-round pick. And Jim Rutherford, pretty much says, well, that 3rd-round pick better be a effing good player. Mm-hmm. It's relevant.
Bill just loves to curse in the press conference.
He does. He loves making it tough for the PR team for the Wild.
I got no problem with that.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm not the one that has
that
edited, but
well-dropped F-bomb is great.
Yeah. It still just seems like an overpayment. It feels like a little bit of a retirement gift, almost to Barry Trotz, who I think is like officially stepping down at the end of the week. I don't know. For like layman's terms, non-hockey terms, it's the equivalent of leaving a $100 bill on like a $45 tab at the restaurant. It's a great tip, and it's not, maybe it was great service, but it's more than you probably had to pay.
Now this guy can win a face-off. He can win face-offs. This is important. Yeah. Like he's got 5 goals, 7 assists, 59 games this season. He's a minus 15. So like, you're not going to get a ton. But if he can win face-offs, and if they're down on Sturm, and this is just part of more moves to come, I'll feel very different than if this is it. Jessi, I will be absolutely shocked.
It can't be. I mean, yes, the Quinn use has dramatically changed your organization and your team, right? I think nobody's going to argue that. You swung big and you absolutely nailed it out of the park 10 times over with Quinn Hughes and his addition. There's something new every night to fawn over Quinn about, which is tremendous. Colorado don't care. Colorado has the most salary cap space still available. You think they're just going to sit idle? And that's where it's like, you look at what Dallas and Minnesota, they have to do something because you're going to have to just sit there and go at it in the first round just so Colorado can go on and win the cup after they also add. And right now, again, there's Kirill Kaprizov salary to be taken into consideration too. That kicks in July 1. So, all right, you have room now to make this addition. I don't care if it's a rental. You're probably going to look more toward a rental versus a term, depending on how that shakes out. You need a top 6 center. You need somebody else up there. You need to be better. You cannot beat the Colorado Avalanche, I don't think, with this team. Now people are going to say, well, look what they did coming out of the Olympic break. Look what they've done this year. I understand that, but Colorado's not done. I have to imagine Colorado is circling the waters because they made room with their moves last week, I think it was, right, when they had traded Sam Girard. So, it cannot be it. I'm also very curious in regard to McCarron. I don't know if you guys saw this. Andrew Brunette's post-game press conference yesterday in speaking. He seemed very, Bruno always kind of has this like, oh, poor me, kind of like an Eeyore type attitude sometimes. But he seemed really bummed out that he lost McCarron and Cole Smith. He said it's a really sad day. It like more than I would have expected for two guys that are very bottom rung players. I found that very, very interesting.
Well, Stamkos I saw an interview of his, I think, between periods where he was asked about just like, the flat start or whatever. I guess I didn't watch the Predators game last night, but I guess they started off real slow and sloppy. And he goes, getting the news right before the game that McCarron got traded was a bit of a gut punch. So
really, like that's very interesting.
I take that as one of two ways. One, he's an unbelievable locker room guy, just sandpaper, just, one of the guys, brotherhood type of thing. Or it's deflating because that's the realization from a guy like Stammer who has sort of already said, I don't want to go anywhere, that management is saying, we don't believe this team is actually a playoff team and we don't really believe in you. So I don't know exactly which one, but it was weird to me that, like you said, with Bruno and then now Stammer, it's kind of like, how important was Michael McCarron to that Nashville locker room?
It's not a guy that you would, again, an impact player on the ice. I don't think, sure, you have that physical presence. I mean, this is a man that faked a injury, shook his hand off like he got smoked in the hand by Matt Zuccarello and there's a lot of instances where McCarron, you're like, huh? But yeah, like Bruno just kept repeating, just really sad day, really, really sad day for the organization. I was like, was it really that sad? Like,
character guy. Character guy in the room. Those two guys might be loved. Who knows? And by the way, so Barry Trotz is going to retire here, or he's going to. This is his last season. He's announced it as the GM. I wonder also, like, it would be very smart if you're the Predators to bow out. Like, I would make trades because they're not going to win Stanley Cup. And here's what I'm wondering too. So is the conspiracy theory, and I think we talked about this last night. So Billy did volunteer in the press conference. I've been talking to Barry Trotz for a month now about things. Now, unfortunately, Ryan O'Reilly got poked in the eye with a stick like Eriksson Ek did, and O'Reilly, this was last night. I think they think he's going to be okay, but that's really scary. But I wonder too if this is the backup plan to try to get a center. I wonder if this is the backup plan if Trocheck, because supposedly the Wilds made their one offer to Trocheck, right? So, or I'm sorry, to the Rangers, to Chris Drury for Trocheck. I wonder if this is a greater play by Guerin as well. Gave up a little extra to get McCarron too, to potentially, because I don't think Stamkos is getting traded, but O'Reilly, if he sort of sees the writing on the wall and he's healthy, I've talked about it before. Yeah, sign me up. Sign me up for a month plus of that guy. Playoffs. I mean, he's been there, done that. I wonder if this is also a potential long play between Bill Guerin and Barry Trotz.
I mean, they've established, I'm sure, a great relationship. I like Barry Trotz too. I think he does a really nice job with whichever team that he is involved in. And now I've never been hard out on Ryan O'Reilly, but I've never been fully in either. I'd take it. I get,
What's wrong with you?
I know I'm just not you, like, I don't know. It doesn't get my gears all like, wait, let's go. Like I want Robert Thomas. I still wanted Robert. I said Robert Thomas a month ago. I don't want him now. I'm so out on that price for sure, like without question. But I don't know. Ryan O'Reilly still, it'd be better than Michael McCarron, no question. But I'm just kind of yeah. What are you giving up for Ryan O'Reilly? Nico Sturm?
I feel like they're asking more than that. No.
Well, I'm saying, but
Oh,
I'm saying for sure, Nico. I was hoping we could collectively come in with our
oh,
pieces. Like we're
yeah,
gonna do
yeah.
Nico and do
The
Ryan
27
Hartman.
first, the 27
27
first,
first. Yep.
for sure.
Stramo.
You'd probably have to give, yeah. You'd, I mean, I mean,
There,
the price of any of these trades is going to be more than we want, including last night's.
which I don't mind. Again, like I laughed. I saw the stats for Marco Rossi and Z William out in Vancouver, and yes, Vancouver is just a hot mess. It's not good, guys. Like they haven't done anything, and I remember the world falling apart on in some instances. We're like, how could you give up on Zeev and Marco? I'm pretty okay with the trade now, guys. Pretty okay with it. I mean, I was then, but I still am now. Like it just I don't mind giving up, and I don't mind giving up the pick because I do side with Billy sometimes. Like, well, what have you done for me? I don't care. Like 2028 second round, you haven't done anything for me. You're not going to help me win right now. Like I do take that approach. I hate overpaying at trade deadline, and I hate overpay. You know, yeah, but you're gonna have to. You have to.
You're trying to win a Stanley Cup?
I win the Stanley Cup.
Well, what Judd said too, which is like, is this a long play with Barry Trotz or just like the Predators right now, where you're supplying them that second round pick as an overpay, but are they going to use that as the initial deal to acquire somebody? Because if there's a guy with a lot of a big cap hit right now, you can only have teams retain 50%. But we've seen the Wild even as the middleman to be like that buffer where they take on somebody's cap hit and then they move it, for something else. So is that second round pick going to be used to acquire, so and so, and then the Wild are going to once again supplement to Nashville for, so essentially they're getting a guy at a quarter the price. We don't know, but I'm just trying to think of how this makes more sense 72 hours from now.
I'm trying to figure out, is this Minnesota Wild team better now than they were before yesterday, before the trade is made, right? Like, I don't mind the Robbie Fabry because that's a claim off waivers. Like, good, fine, great, wonderful, better than Tyler Pitlick. Sure, absolutely. Michael McCarron coming in fills that void while Marcus Foligno's out. Vinny Hinostroza, take it or leave it. Like, again, that fourth line, very meh. But I'm not convinced being like, yes, this team feels better now. Like, this is the team that we're going to go rah, win a Stanley Cup with. It doesn't feel any better to me.
I feel like this is a depth piece, and look, I mean, we know for a fact that if it's not Bill Guerin, and I think he's very much involved, John Hines as well, are obsessed with the fourth line in the playoffs. I mean, Marco Rossi got demoted to the fourth line, played with Brazeau and Trennan, and they actually played well against the Golden Knights. So there's an obsession with the fourth line, and I have no problem with that as far as depth goes, but it can't be it. So, like, if this is all part of a grand plan, a rejuggling, let's say, and the fourth line's involved, but you're going to go get Trocheck or O'Reilly, then I think there's more excitement about this. It's just that, and we have to allow it to play out because as sports fans, we have often jumped at this is the trade, this is your signing, and then, of course, it's more. I mean, it was a much longer play, but in some ways, it's like last July 1st, we're like, you signed Nico Sturm, you signed or traded for Tarasenko. What are you doing? And then they're like, oh, we just got Quinn Hughes in December. So I'm more than willing to let this play out and wait. But this has to be part of something. And I still have to think that they're in on Trocheck. But Jessi brings up a really, really intriguing point, and that's the fact that Colorado and Dallas are going to make moves.
Yeah.
So, like, do you want to fall behind? And make no mistake, if you don't upgrade at a top six center, you're falling behind them. So I think as a show, we don't necessarily think that Kadri is a fit here, but Kadri going to Dallas or Colorado improves them. So there has to be a big picture here, which I'm guessing is taken into account. And the Quinn Hughes trade is funny because the Quinn Hughes trade is like, okay, that was their huge splash. And by the way, it was a great splash. But the other part of that is when you made that trade, you became a Stanley Cup contender, like a legitimate one. And so can you stop now? So this is one of the most interesting deadlines, I think, that I've ever seen for the Wild, AJ, just based on the circumstances. And there's certainly been trades before, and there have been seasons before when they are competitive. But, to drop in a superstar, and as we talked about, or was talked about in the post game, they have three legit superstars now. Three legit superstars.
So amazing.
So this is a very, very interesting deadline for Bill Guerin as far as where do you draw that line? And again, I think we all agree it cannot be, oh, I got Michael McCarron, so everyone shut up and go home.
Yeah, they haven't been in this position, I feel like, approaching a deadline ever. It feels like in the past it's been, they're a good team, but they're probably still a couple pieces. Can they get that one right guy that helps everything click? And then they make that sort of, against all odds run to the cup final, or it's, they're maybe on the fringe and maybe they're better than what they actually are, but they're kind of hurt right now. So how can they plan around all this stuff? You have guys, for the most part, your most important players are healthy right now. It seems like you genuinely have that one piece away type of thing, and you have to figure out what it is and make the move for it. But how does Bill Guerin approach this? And that's where it comes back to the will they, won't they, in terms of making that trade right now versus holding on to whatever war chest that remains and trying to make a big splash move in the offseason. I mean, Judd, we talked about it on the show yesterday, where people are maybe looking for the Brady Tkachuk or an Austin Matthews type of deal where, one, cap-wise, I don't know if that the Matthews thing it can even work, especially if you're trying to retain Quinn Hughes. But it just seems like the more and more as we get closer to Friday's deadline, you have to do something that impacts your team for the better, like significantly right now. And now maybe that means you do have to overpay more. So the reception I think a lot of people understood was it was a buyer's market, so the prices weren't going to be as astronomical, but it gets set and changes and varies deal by deal. You saw yesterday, it's a second round pick for a guy who's going to be essentially probably a fourth line center consistently. So how does that adjust everything else? And every team obviously values players differently. Every GM values players differently. And we clearly know that every GM values picks differently with how Bill Guerin deals out those like it's candy. So will he
Who's worse with that though? Do you think him or Fletcher? Like Fletcher just like, yeah, take this pick. Take all these guys.
I would
Martin Hansel.
Yeah.
I would allow you to trade as many draft picks as you want if the agreement with the GM and me was the no move, no trade clauses are going to go to players that completely deserve them. That drives me way more crazy. The draft picks, I mean, the first round picks, yeah, but what drives me nuts is when every slappy who you like gets a no trade clause. So that's what I would like taken out of hockey. Basketball's got like a handful of guys with them, by the way.
Right.
You need to get those down.
Do you, instead of Ryan O'Reilly, Stammer obviously has come into the conversation, and Minnesota's a team that he would go. He's the right-handed shot, right? Like I like that option better. Now he started out rough, right? Like he was looking like maybe there was nothing left in the canister. I'm more in on Steven Stamkos as that option because I drool considering the power play with him on it as well. Like, my goodness, it allows Kirill to be that bumper still. Like, I love everything about that possibility. I'm more in on that. I don't know why. I like Ryan O'Reilly a lot too. But Steven Stamkos to me, Stramel, you're 27. You want Nico and maybe another person? Do you toss in another player?
Gonna probably have to, right?
Oh, it's more, yeah. No, Stammer's more than O'Reilly. Yeah, a Stammer trade I think would more resemble a Trocheck trade. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Ryan
what
O'Reilly
they're asking for Trocheck or what he's actually, because I don't feel like Trocheck is worth what they're probably asking. And I love that Bill Guerin, if what's being reported by Russo is true, which I'm sure it is, I love that there's our offer, take it or leave it. Like, I don't want to overpay for Vincent Trocheck. I like him, but again, he's just I don't want to overpay.
But what's our assumption? 2027 first round pick, Charlie Strommel, and then
Lambos or something.
One of those defensemen.
Yeah.
Juracek, Lambos, or Spacek.
Yeah.
My guess is a Stamkos trade would come fairly close to that one. O'Reilly, I mean, they're all going to be a ton. Like there's going to be any trade. I mean, there was sticker shock on the Quinn Hughes trade, as you pointed out, Jessi. So any trade that these guys make is going to be like, I can't believe you gave up that. But we all need to take a breath and say, okay, but consider the circumstance. So
Quinn Hughes, I still am so mind boggled by the people that ever questioned that. Like, they're like, no, why would we do this? I'm like, are you kidding me? And that's before having seen him play every single night in and
I
night out,
know.
right? Like I'm just wildly like we don't need to be
Well,
attached to Marco Rossi, guys. I'm sorry you never had to be attached to him. Zeev William, fine. Hopefully he does turn into Liam Ogren. Nope. Like that was in retrospect very cheap for Quinn Hughes when you
I
look at
think
all that Quinn Hughes has done.
I think the concern from those people was more about the contractual situation and can you sign him. So like
Yeah.
I think if you got Quinn Hughes with 5 years left, I think nobody bats an eye. I think the concern was, my God, you just gave up well, Ogre I thought might be a nice chip. I think that they threw him in. I don't think they cared, but I think that was the concern. And look, if Quinn Hughes signs on July 1st, and I did tell Age this a couple of days ago, Jess. I feel more than ever now that Quinn and Jack are going to play together sooner
Yeah.
rather than later. Like, don't
Yeah.
you get that feeling that the Olympics just emboldened them to say this is what we want? And if Luke comes along, I think they're fine. I think they're fine if he doesn't. But I think Quinn and Jack are now bound and determined to get on the same team as soon as possible.
I mean, also that's the narrative out there, right? We're seeing them together for every appearance,
But
every
yeah,
media event, but yeah, I mean, I think it's solidified in their minds like this is pretty special. We could do a lot of really cool things together, like again, Jack has shown time and time again how good of a player he is. We obviously see what Quinn does nightly. It's incredible. Did you guys see a little funny aside? One of those NHL rumor bots or whatever talking about a trade, but they still had Liam Ogrim as a member of the Minnesota Wild.
Yeah.
Like, no, he doesn't.
It's
Hopefully, Vancouver knows we're dealing him.
It's
Like,
a
that
brand
doesn't
new
work
deal
out.
where they can call him back and
trade him
replace him
again.
with yeah.
Hello, Liam, Bill Guerin.
Liam.
You traded me. I just traded you again
Yes.
in a big trade. Couple more things to get to, but before we do that, I think that we should talk about where Miss Matamidai, team in the state tournament. I think we should talk about where she banks because it's pretty doggone important.
There are 6 Twin Cities locations of North American Banking Company, one near Matamida Go Zefs today in the Class A quarterfinals. No, you guys, North American Banking has been tremendous. I am so happy I switched over to them. Switching over, hassle-free, absolutely brilliant. They've got online and mobile banking tools, everything you'd expect of a national bank. But when I want to talk to a real person, I visit any of those 6 Twin Cities locations, you guys. Again, switching banks, never been easier until North American Banking Company. Highly recommend you go pay them a visit, check them out, go to nabankcode.com, learn more, visit a location near you. They are member FDIC equal housing lender.
And guys, it's time to talk to you. Yeah, that's Sports Dad here. I know. There's things you don't like to talk about, and this is one. But it's time to talk about. Yeah, that's right. Getting a colonoscopy. A colonoscopy from Minji Digestive Health is truly game changing because it helps detect the disease at its earliest stage when it's most treatable and beatable, and that's the time to get it. And it's the one test that can both detect and prevent colon cancer. I know what you're thinking. It takes a long time, and the prep sounds hard. What's great about Minji is the colonoscopy that prep that they have uses a sports drink mixture that patients prefer, and the screening itself is quick and painless. So don't put it off. Schedule your game-changing, life-saving colonoscopy today at Minji.com. That's MNGI.com. Get that done. Get a peace of mind and make sure that everything is fine. Jessi, good news last night, and I think it was somewhat surprising. Jonas Brodin returns for the Wild's win against Tampa Bay. That was ahead of schedule, correct?
So I asked John Hines that at Morning Skate because it felt like it, but also I think maybe we're just all discombobulated with our schedule with that Olympic break. Because he said no, it's maybe a little bit ahead of schedule. But in speaking with some of my inside sources who skated with Mr. Brodin numerously, I mean, he was pushing it hard and he was really working, trying to get back constantly. But he had surgery, January 22nd, and it's a 6 to 8 week situation. So maybe it's, kind of around that, but maybe a week or two ahead. Love to see it. Huge, great. Damon Hunt, I thought was very serviceable coming in, but obviously getting Broads and Spurgeon back together. And I love Jake Middleton as that bottom defenseman.
That's right.
Right?
That's what I was going to say, right, Age? Like that's I think that might be the best part. I think the best part, Jake fits really well at the bottom there. I feel like with Spurgeon, at times he looks okay, but at times it doesn't look as good. It feels like the planets align far more when it's Faber and Hughes, Spurgeon and Brodin, and then Jake and probably Bogo because they simply love the guy.
Yes.
Yeah, that bottom pairing now. I mean, how out of place did it look earlier this season when you had Zach Bogosian paired with Zeke Buium, where it's like this savvy vet, he's not wearing a visor, played for the Atlanta Thrashers at one point, and then you got this young dynamo kid where it's like there's a lot of untapped potential, but it's not really refined yet. Middleton and him seem like a much more natural pairing. They see last night. I mean, it seemed like they kind of worked off each other's games more. They both are willing to step up in the play on the offensive rush. Maybe Middleton more so at times, but at the same time, I think Bogosian realizes like I still am more of the sit back, kind of back, back line of defense type of guy, and um, yeah, having that D core healthy right now, like and Jessi said, I think Damon Hunt actually, since being reclaimed and everything like that, he has been, frankly, he's had a really solid showing. Like I didn't realize he was as good of a defender as he was, but he's where he should be now when everybody's healthy, which isn't just not in the lineup. Yeah, Brodin being back, he didn't seem like he missed a step. He looked pretty solid last night despite missing that time, and that's where that, as much as I want to also hate on the 3-week break for the Olympics, that helps massively. Like he only missed a fraction of the amount of games he probably would have had he been another regular season where maybe we just had the week and a half for the All-Star break or something like that. So good to have him back, and looked like he was hitting things with full strides last night.
And he gave up his Olympic dream, playing for Team Sweden, to do the right thing. God bless that man. I hope we all take into account the fact that, because he could have pressed it, he could have tried to play, and I don't think that they would have stopped him. But yeah, and I think he missed 14 games, which is what probably he probably would have missed 22 games or something like that. So so
he should get the cup first. Who's?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Hand it off to him first after.
Can Spurgeon lift the cup?
Wow.
It's 30 plus pounds.
I think we're going to have a Sakic Bork situation here where he's just going to take it and immediately give it to somebody else.
Well, it goes to Quinn Hughes and Kaprizov. And then Boldy starts a fight with those two to get his hands on that thing. Boy, yeah, if they win the cup, it goes from Spurge. Spurge gets it up, like lifts it, and then hands it to... You got to give it to Kaprizov, right?
Like, then you go to Stamkos.
I'm thinking.
You go to Trocheck. You go to.
Don't forget my guy Ryan O'Reilly. Don't forget my guy Ryan O'Reilly. Just because you're not as excited as he can win faceoffs. He's got the great stick. You bought. Be honest.
You bought the Ryan O'Reilly jersey the first time they had him. You were like, you know what? I'm in on this. I went and ran and bought it the first time, and then you're like, oh, they got rid of him in 30 seconds, but I still have the jersey. I'm excited.
The joke is true. Best center in Wild history. He is. Yep. He is. In fact, I'm surprised they didn't put 90 in the rafters, considering he's a more complete player than 9. But that didn't happen. Okay, so the Wild went 5-1 last night against Tampa Bay. They had come back from the Olympic break. They beat Colorado, which was impressive, 5-2. Then they lost 5-2 at Utah in a clunker. Then they lost to the Blues 3-1 in sort of a disjointed game. A couple of things. I thought this was easily the most back in sync that they had looked. And 2, before we go to Kirill Kaprizov now, the all-time leader in goals, breaks a tie with Gabrick last night. So he, in a much fewer games, 220 goals now. And as Kirill always is post-game, he seemed very unmoved for a guy who was acting during the game like he wanted to get that goal so fast that he was actually not playing as well, shooting as well as he ordinarily does. So I thought his actions and his words did not match up, but congratulations, he gets the goal.
3 posts, right? Like you could tell, he was scratching it. And you hate to do it on an empty netter. Like, not that it, it doesn't matter, it doesn't take anything away. It is what it is, but you're like, oh, all right. I just love that he I love how Kirill is, right? His demeanor is just so kind of funny. Like when he was talking about how he heard the video, Gabrick's congratulation video ahead of time, and he's like, who's that? What's that for? Who's that? And I believe it. Like, I can picture this conversation so vividly between him and Matt Zuccarello, where he's like, and Zuki's like, it's for you. And he's like, oh, why? Like, for the goals. Like, it just, just incredible.
And Zuccarello having to explain everything. Like they are, as far as I can tell, like, a married couple.
Yeah, it's adorable. I'm here for
Like,
it.
it's the damnedest thing. And Zuccarello can, it appears, never retire.
Yeah. I mean, why
I mean,
not?
Kirill, like,
Lock it
I
in.
think Kirill would be lost without him.
Well,
It'd be interesting.
hopefully that training staff can keep him nice and limber. Then
I gotta give a shout out to Marian Gaborik in that video. I got a little soft hearted when he had said, "Do for Minnesota what I never could do, and that's bring a Stanley Cup." And I was like, "Oh, but
He left
Kirill
us.
doesn't." He did. I know.
Screw that.
I
Yeah.
had a very harsh, hard, like, what's the word? Not a vengeance. I did not like Marian Gaborik for a very long time, right? Like, because my mom instilled that in me, this hatred for this man. She was like, "This man's hurt all the time, and he left us. We don't like him."
Good for Mom.
He is bad." Oh yeah, Mom.
Let's get
hates
her
Marian
on the show.
Gaborik. Oh, she's a
Mom's
Ranger.
right. Mom, if you're
She,
watching, I like that fire. I agree with you.
yeah, but that it softened me. I was like, "Oh," he's like, "Minnesota deserves it." I'm like, "We do." I'm a sucker for that stuff. You know that.
I know, but he's saying it after the
believe
fact.
him.
He went to the Rangers. And Doug Riseborough didn't trade him. That actually, if you go back in the annals of wild history,
Oh yeah, it was
that
the
is
worst
what-
move.
well, and
Or worst
it was
set
one
them
of
back.
and it was
Yeah.
destructive because you didn't get a thing back for him, and he was your star player, and he left, and then you didn't bottom out enough.
Mhm.
I don't want to talk about it. Okay, last thing, Age, we'll start with you. Does the Wild make a move by Friday's deadline that is considered to be an impact move? And if so, give me your name for who it is.
Yes, I think they do. I think what you kind of alluded to earlier, which is the talks. He mentioned he's been talking to Barry Trotz for over a month now. I don't think Michael McCarron is the first and only name that comes up in those conversations for over a month while they monitor the standings. So I think we're on to some backup plan, whether it's A or whether it's B, C, D, E, F. I don't know. Maybe they're down the list here, but they're gonna make a trade, and I think it's gonna be for. It feels weird that they would go back to the Nashville well. I think. But I don't know. Maybe
Stamkos, I've seen conflicting reports because Pierre LeBrun of The Athletic did report at some point that there were 3 teams. It was Dallas, Minnesota, and I think Tampa that he would accept trades to. But then Stamkos was asked about it, I think, in Nashville and said, I'm not going to leave. So that's where I can't decide what is what and if he's going to be traded. And by the way, if the trades, and I know that they weren't earth-shattering, but if those guys were really that popular and considered glue guys in the locker room, were those trades also made to sort of get guys to say, oh, okay, we're not really going for it? Like, I can't decide what they're doing.
Yeah.
What the Predators are doing.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't think they know, right? Because they were winning. Like they're so up. They're like, oh, but we're winning games now, and we still have this chance. But now it's like, no, we don't. And again, that's why Andrew Burnett is the way he is. Like, this man is a broken man. Like, I feel so bad for him. Like, it's just every time I talk to him, not great, Jess. It just lives in my head rent free. Like, how you doing, Bruno? Not great, Jess. Not great.
So, do they make a trade, and who do they get if you say yes, Jessi?
Well, AJ didn't finish. You think it's
I think it's still going to be Trocheck. I think.
Okay.
I do too.
I think it's going to be somewhere where mid to late Thursday, he's going to get on a call. Maybe Vinny Trocheck still not sold on moving this far west, away from his family, but one conversation with Billy is going to be all he needs, and maybe a promise of a meatball dinner or something like that.
Chris Drury and Billy, that friendship, we're Team USA boys. You gotta. Give
I think Drury's already set to make a deal. I think it's like Trocheck is saying, I don't want to move that far yet.
You think so? I feel like it's Chris Drury being, again, I want to hear more. I want a little bit more. I'm in a very tough spot here in New York. They're not happy. I'm sending out letters to people. They're not liking it. They're not liking what they're seeing. I think it's Drury, because if Colorado comes in, depending on their offer, like, I love Bill Guerin being like, here it is, like, take it or leave it. Like, this is worth that. But that's where I also believe, like, Drury's just kind of toying with him a little bit and being like, well, we'll dabble the bobber up and down just a little bit longer, and then I'll reel you in at the end and just say, okay, Jake. There's something about it that just, it feels like it's a Trocheck thing. I don't think it's a Stamkos. I don't think it's a Ryan O'Reilly. I think it's a Trocheck.
Trocheck makes a ton of sense too. And by the way, if his 7-year-old son who plays hockey out east
Yes.
wants to stay there because he's got a good team. I I don't know the kid's name, but if you're watching this show and you're hearing that your old man might be moved, I got one word for you: Edina, son.
Yeah.
Edina. You know why? Because you could come here. Dad can buy a house with mom and the family. You bring, I don't know if you got brothers and sisters, but if so, bring them along. And you can live. I mean, Eric Stahl came here and he wouldn't leave because he flooded a rink and he's like, this is the greatest place ever. I don't want to be traded. So young Mr. Trocheck, I got news for you here. You're gonna come here. You're gonna play in the Edina system. It's gonna be fantastic. And I'm from Minna freaking Tonkin. I'm telling you that.
Yeah.
Dad can flood a rink for you. You make sure he does that. So
I love that kid, by the way. That's two
He's great.
savage comments that we've heard about from his dad. The first one was after
The
Four
Olympics.
Nations. He told his dad, he was crying. He's like, you never win anything, which I love. And then the second one
it's
is
like your kids.
yeah, Dad, you're getting traded. I'm not. I'm staying here. It's exactly like my 7-year-old. My 7-year-old has a little mouth on him, and he's so quick to say the things that you're like, ow, that kind of hurts. Like, but bravo, son. Like, that's really smart of you. And I'm so here for it. And I love Trocheck's blatant honesty too. You don't see that from players who recognize the position that they're in, the position the team's in. I love that he was very forthright and being like, yep, I want to go to a contender. Yep, I don't want to go out west. For the record, though, it has been clarified that that doesn't include Minnesota. Minnesota is not on his too far west
Correct.
line.
Yeah.
Like Minnesota's just
Correct.
fine for him. So that's not out of the possibility.
One more, like, if I had to throw a surprise name as like everything else they stall out on and they need to do something, Evan Rodriguez with Florida. They're 10 points out of a 10 points out of a playoff spot right now.
I do like him.
He's only on a $3 million cap hit. You have him for next year as well, but he's 32.
Is he a right shot?
He doesn't really win face-offs as much as I would love. Yes, he is, and he is a right shot. But he's a guy who can play on the wing too. So you already have those, Hartman who can play center and wing. Yurov, I know he can kind of bump out times too because of how his lack of skill in the face-off dot at times. So maybe that's something just to keep an eye on.
The McCarron thing, just quickly too, is before we get, and it's great. The dude can win defensive zone faceoffs. He's a fourth line guy. But before we get excited about this again, this is Nico Sturm 2.0. Like he can win faceoffs. It's great. He's gonna win faceoffs. It's like, okay, but he's not playing enough. So like do I think that McCarron is going to come here and suddenly get all this ice time and now he's playing with Kaprizov and Zuccarello? Absolutely not. So they do need somebody who's going to play, who can win faceoffs, not just a fourth line guy or a PK guy, which the PK thing lends credence to Jessi's point too about a real concern about if and when Foligno comes back, because that would be a big hit as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jessi, who do the Zephyrs have?
St. Cloud Cathedral.
And are you going?
I am going today. Yes,
for Tom Reed's or the game.
I think I'm going to go to the. Well, we're going to go to Tom Reed's first, and then the game. Friday's more of my
maybe
high school
after, depending on
day.
how the game goes.
Depending on how the game goes, but I'm not bringing the kids to this one today. I'm like, if they win, I'll bring you guys on Friday because I'm a strong proponent of yanking kids out for this statewide holiday.
My mom did
that, especially if you're. It's funny. My cousin, or not my cousin, excuse me, my sister-in-law, who's still trying to navigate. I think. She's a little hesitant. She's like, well, I don't want to take them out of school. I'm like, no, you take them out of school. Like, this is fun. Like, they're, especially because her boys are in high school. My nephews are in high school now. So I'm like, no, they got to experience it. I used to ditch out of school every year. Matamidi, I was never in it when I was in high school, but I would ditch out and watch White Bear lose in the first round every single time.
Oh, you ditched out?
Fun. Yeah, my parents, they didn't
my parents
really
were fully behind me on this. And
I didn't tell them, but they didn't care either. You know what I mean? Like, I ended up on the big screen one time and my godparents saw me and they called my parents because texting really wasn't a thing at the time. God, I'm old. And yeah, my parents were like, oh, you could have just asked us. And I was like, well, I didn't know. I was a goody two shoes mostly. So I'm like,
you're afraid to get in trouble, which is hilariously funny since you're in trouble a lot. My mom used to, boy, in the mid 80s, my mom would drive me down to the Civic Center, drop me off. I would wait in line for tickets, but I
You
did
can't
school.
do that now. Like you had to buy your even for Class A. Double A has always been that way because it sells out so quickly.
Yeah.
For Class A, we have to order it through Ticketmaster too. Like there's no just going up to the box office and
There's no
getting your
box office?
tickets. I
Well,
don't
they're
think
doing.
so, from what I'm understanding. Because Matamidi sent out because my kids obviously go to Matamidi now too. So it's not just me reliving old glory days entirely.
Yeah,
Don't
sure
let
it's
the
not.
jacket fool
Sure.
ya.
Yep. Yep.
I should get some more patches on this thing. But they sent out a note saying be sure they don't expect it to sell out, but you have to go through Ticketmaster. Again, it's a new system that they're
That's a
doing for Class
racket.
A instead of Double A. Because Double A's again has been that way for a while now. But A, the desire. So I feel like you still can, because Wild Games you can still go to the box office day of, right? So I'm
Yeah.
sure there's that component, but they're really encouraging purchasing on Ticketmaster.
Well, it's not Gen Ad anymore, right? Like there's
It's
specific
reserved.
seating,
Yes, that's the other thing, because they had said
which is crazy to me.
for your communities and your students, it's sections 118, 119, and 120, at least for Matamidi today, right? And yeah, and there were no tickets available on Ticketmaster in those sections anymore. So obviously the Matamidi community adhered to the aforementioned rules. But yeah, it's not general admission. It's the state high school league is not great. I don't, from a credential standpoint, they don't. They're terrible
What?
guys.
Hold
I
on.
know. Like,
Whoa.
You're breaking news.
and I don't know who they're
Man.
doing it for. You're not doing it for the kids. You're not protecting the kids. Like, I don't know what the deal is.
Well, if
there,
it's
but-
Ticketmaster, then you probably got to deal with Ticketmaster. I mean, if you
Yeah.
have to go through them, because that's the fees then.
right,
Doing it for corporate America.
$20 for an adult. I didn't see what it went.
Hold
up
on a
for
second.
this.
So you're going to be at the games on Friday?
I will probably go to the game. No, remember, this is what I do on Friday because it's trade deadline. I go to
Yeah.
the expo, I monitor my phone, and then I go sit at Tom Reed's to play out the rest of the thing. Is the Wild are
you
gone
go
this
sit at
year
Tom
for trade
Reed's.
deadline again.
Yeah.
And so there's not much I can do anyway because I'm not in person with Billy in Vegas or wherever.
But what
they
about
are.
our podcast that when we have to
Then
go
I'll be
live
ready.
and
You know
we're
I'm ready. You know
The Judd's
anywhere.
Hockey Show deadline extravaganza is going to go live.
It will
with
exist.
Jessi.
Exactly.
just
Because if
downing a
Matamidi
pitcher.
wins today, they play at like they'll either be 11 o'clock or 1 again, right? Yeah. You'll get way better stuff out of me if I have a couple 2, 3, 4 in me, 5, 6, 7. I don't know.
Let me tell you something about Michael
Yeah.
McCarron.
Right.
Well, his bar's
I'm
open
a-
early on Friday for the tourney.
Michael McCarron will come here. He'll charm the media. You guys will all be like, "Oh, great locker room
He
guy."
is such a big dude. I remember
Yeah.
talking to him
Yeah.
earlier this year
Great
when they were in
smile.
town. Just giant. But yeah.
All right, and with that, we're done. We will be back. We're planning on being back tomorrow. We'll be back for a live show that hopefully Jessi can join on Friday. A deadline show. I'm guessing that we will go for quite a while on that show, as well as we lead up to the trade deadline right here on Judd's Hockey Show. For Jessi, for AJ, I am the sports dad, and we will see you later.